We are back with another edition of Sports Sunday, and for this edition, we have a lot going on, from upsets, impressive victories, franchise records being broken, as well as playoff implications in the NFL going on for Week 16, so we have a lot to cover. The leagues we'll be covering for this week are the NFL, NBA, NCAA Men's College Basketball, the Premier League, and also MLB trades that have been going on here in the offseason for baseball. Now getting started for NFL Week 16, a lot of things have been going on. With the Eagles, Nick Foles was able to break the franchise's record for yards thrown at 471 yards. The Eagles were able to defeat the Texans right at the end of regulation with a field goal from Jake Elliott, so their playoff hopes are still alive. As for the rest of the NFC, all the divisions have been clinched. So the NFC North, the Bears have already got. That was last week. NFC East was the Cowboys. NFC South was the Saints. And the NFC West that has already been clinched. As with that, AFC, now the AFC has been now finally clinched by the Patriots. The other three divisions are still up for grabs. So Week 17, we will be needed to decide the remaining division winners, as well as those who will get the wild card spots as well. As for the NFC, currently the Seahawks and the Minnesota Vikings have the 2 spots in the wild card, with the Eagles and the Washington Redskins still in contention for the final 2 spots in the NFC. As for the AFC, several teams are still in it, which include the Colts and also the Titans, who are still trying to get a playoff spot, and as well as the Steelers also trying to get a playoff spot. Now, with that being said, Week 17 should be pretty exciting, even though there are some matchups where teams are not in contention. Their seasons are going to be done, so this next week's going to be their last game. So it still should be an exciting Week 17 to see how the rest of the playoff picture will shape up. As we said before, for the AFC North, we said that the Ravens were going to probably take that division. And also, now with the AFC West, we have the Chiefs. Right now, they still haven't played yet because they're playing tonight against the Seattle Seahawks, so there's already big playoff implications there. So that should be a good Sunday night game. So it should be pretty exciting right now. Obviously, my team with the Eagles, we'll see how they do for Week 17. There's still going to be a wild card seed if they do get in, but they're going to have a tough wild card first round game if they do make it through. But we will see if they can defend their Super Bowl title. Most likely no, but as long as they're in, they still got a shot. Now, with that being said, we're going to move on to the NBA. We have several games for tomorrow. There are not going to be any games, but for Christmas Day, there will be NBA action. Currently, right now, the Hawks are visiting the Pistons and are visiting the Pacers. As for the rest of the games that are here on the schedule, let's say the Celtics are going to beat the Hornets. For the Bulls and the Cavaliers, for this one, I will say the Cavaliers will win this one just because the last time they played, it came right down to the buzzer. It was a final play. The Bulls were able to win that one, but I think this time the Cavaliers should come out on top on the winning side for that. The Nets should beat the Suns, followed by the Heat will defeat the Magic. Here, I'll say the Pelicans will beat the Kings. The Thunder will defeat the Timberwolves, and the Warriors will defeat the Clippers. Also, we will have the Trailblazers defeating the Dallas Mavericks, and also the Lakers will defeat the Grizzlies. And then just so everybody knows, for Christmas Day, there are 5 games going on. Many of them can be watched either on ABC or ESPN for those who have access to them. So overall, I'd probably say the Lakers and Warriors are probably like the biggest one right there is for Christmas Day for the games for the NBA. That should be the biggest game on the schedule for that. I'd probably say the Warriors are probably going to win that one. The Warriors don't look as strong as they used to be, at least in the past couple seasons, but overall, I still think they're the much better team versus the Lakers, despite with Kevin Durant and the whole free agency thing going on. But I still see the Warriors will probably defeat the Lakers come Christmas Day. As for college basketball, probably the biggest notable game is the number 1 ranked team in the country, the Kansas Jayhawks. They lost yesterday. Obviously not going to be ranked number 1 anymore. They lost to the Sun Devils. They lost by 4, which besides that, like most of the top 25 ended up winning their respective games. Also, UConn was just ended up being blown out by Villanova, even though that was a fairly close game for most of it. And then just Villanova I think had like a 19-0 run towards the second half, and they just pulled away from them as well. So as of with that, there's some already March Madness implications with the Sun Devils already significantly improving their resume in terms of where they're going to be positioned if they end up getting into the tournament. But with being able to defeat the number 1 ranked team in the country, I don't see it like that they'll have any problem at least getting into the tournament for that. Now for today, it was just one game. It's just it was a number 21 ranked team in the country. They were taking on a team that didn't win a single game, but 31. So with that, the next games that are coming up, besides Sunday, you won't have any games up for college basketball, for at least on the men's side, until Friday the 28th. So those are going to have the next game. But, overall, so like I said, for Ohio State, coming up, they defeated the Bruins by 14. But so far, I think they definitely shook off that almost that upset scare from Bucknell that they had earlier in the season. But as of right now, they're still like around only one loss of the year. But we'll see if they will move up or not. This week, probably not, just because most of the top 25 won, besides obviously Kansas. I don't think Kansas will fall too many spots. They'll probably still be in the top 10. They're probably the rankings have probably been released by now, I think. But they'll probably still be in the top 10. Because the Sun Devils are still a pretty decent team. They were ranked 18th versus defeating the number 1 team. But they're still a pretty decent team. I don't think they're going to fall below the top 10. And it was still a fairly close game. They lost by 4. Also, with the Premier League, there was actually something as well. Everton just got embarrassed today by the Spurs, 6-2, with Harry Kane scoring 2 goals for the Spurs. Also, Man U defeated Cardiff City 5-1. So those are actually pretty interesting matchups overall. But Manchester City also was interesting. On Saturday, they lost to Crystal Palace 3-2. And I thought it was a pretty interesting result as well, because Man City was towards the top of the table. But Liverpool obviously defeated the Wolves 2-0. I believe the final score was at full time. So they remained at the top of the table as well. So with that, there won't be any games. And I don't believe the next game for Premier League, I don't think it's going to be until next week, because there aren't going to be any games, obviously, for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day coming up. So with that, we're going to move on to some of the notable trades and transactions for the offseason for MLB. As of right now, I know Michael Brantley has went to the Astros, and then there's also a few other notable transactions that's also going on as well. I know for the Yankees, Carlos Beltran was named as a special advisor, I believe it was. We don't see the exact title. It's a special advisor he was named as. But also, Daniel Murphy is now with the Rockies as well, too. Signed a 2-year deal with them. Also with Wilson Ramos as well. And Rajai Davis has a minor league contract. Instead of being with the Cleveland Indians, they're now with the New York Mets minor league system. And then also Wilson Ramos being with the Mets as well. And then obviously this happened a little while ago. This happened almost a week ago. Happ is a left-handed pitcher for the Yankees. They got a 2-year contract with him. And then also just to complete a trade as well too from earlier, Monasterio, who's the second baseman for the Nationals, went to the Cleveland Indians. Complete a trade that they have already agreed to from earlier. Also had terms with the right-hand pitcher with Cody Anderson as well too with the Indians. So overall, and then obviously Ian Kinsler as well too. It's not with the Padres right now for San Diego. So overall, it's probably going to be even more interesting before the season starts. Probably going to be a lot more going on with the Nationals as well too. Not just with Bryce Harper too, but it's probably going to be more of a rebuilding time for the Nationals history as well too. Just like one of my favorite teams. But again, like last year too, was just kind of a mediocre season. But we'll see if they're able to actually maybe like to start turning things around, at least starting to put the right pieces in place, just going forward. Because now a lot of the players that helped us, get to a playoff prominence, at least actually get us into playoffs, are not going to be with the team anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward how quickly they can get back to being competitive and to be able to at least make another playoff round, not go farther. So probably going to keep going forward for more MLB transactions and trades that are happening before the season starts in early April. So some of them we'll just try to highlight the biggest ones here as well, but we'll try to highlight other ones as well. The ones, depending on what we believe that will have somewhat more of an impact for the regular season coming up. And then, like we said, for NBA, Christmas Day, there are 5 games going on. And then also for Monday Night Football for the NFL, Broncos will be taking on the Raiders on Christmas Eve. I can't imagine it's going to be too popular of a game, just considering that neither the Broncos or the Raiders will have a chance to make the playoffs. The season's already both done. But that's going to be the last game as well. And then, obviously, I said, Chiefs will be taking on the Seahawks for tonight. But also a pretty exciting game right now, too. Saints are at home against the Steelers. They were up 17-14 last time we checked. There's already playoff implications there. Just for both teams. Obviously, the Saints not just already got the division, but they're trying to lock up the number 1 seed in the NFC and to guarantee them home field advantage in the Superdome. They were able to win that. They'll be able to pull that off as well. And again, for Sports Sunday, if you have any suggestions on as well other sports leagues or other games that we haven't covered, let us know in the comments below. Also, just somebody else was mentioning as well too, someone's favorite team, Norwich City or Norwich. defeated Blackburn in their final. In their match was 1-0. I believe it was the final score. So Norwich won there. So again, if anybody else has any other teams as well too that they support or they root for, let us know in the comments below if you want us to include them as well. It's not just we're only including leagues from just in the U.S. or internationally. We'll consider other leagues and other teams as well. It's not like we're only just going to go NFL, NBA, MLB, Premier League, and that's it. But we'll include other leagues, or at least to consider other leagues as well as other sports as well. So it's not limited to the sports we only talk about just in the only current editions that we have for Sports Sunday. Still just an evolving series as well too. I would like this to evolve into something that not just only talks about the top tier leagues and teams, but also other teams that maybe don't get as much attention or maybe don't get as much coverage. And then this could be a place for it as well too. And not just within the U.S., of course, but internationally as well too. And with that being said, we're looking forward to your comments as well too in the comment section below. Just let us know of any suggestions or any teams you would like us to cover. And again, this has been another edition of Sports Sunday. And again, we'll probably, for the channel, probably just release like a holidays video. Probably either sometime tomorrow. Just wishing everybody happy holidays. And as for that, we'll let everybody know officially like what our streaming is going to be like on Monday or Tuesday if we're going to be streaming at all, Monday or Tuesday for the holidays. Again, thank you to everybody for watching this. We will see you guys for next Sunday for another edition of Sports Sunday. And then we will be on Twitch later tonight at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again to everybody for joining us here, and we will see you guys later tonight on Twitch.